Hi, I'm David Gervino with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management. September is National Preparedness Month. There are 4 weeks in September, and there are 4 important steps that we want you to take to be prepared for emergencies. Those 4 steps are to get a kit, make a plan, be informed, and get involved. Since there are 4 weeks in September, what we're going to do is each week address a different step. This being the first week of September, let's talk about step 1, get a kit. We have over here an example of some supplies that should be in a disaster kit. A disaster kit can be something that's in a tote bag such as this, or it could be in a plastic crate of some sort or a backpack. Basically, the key that you want in terms of picking out a container for your kit is you want it to be big enough to where it can store everything you need, but yet small enough to where you can take it with you if you do have to evacuate and go somewhere. So when we talk about putting together an emergency preparedness kit, it should have enough supplies to last you and your family, including pets and everyone else who stays with you, for up to 3 days. Think about instances such as the blizzard that took place in February a few years back, where we were snowed in and stores were closed and grocery stores weren't open. And you had to stay in your house for a couple of days before you could get out and buy more food and things of that nature. You needed to have stuff at your house so that you could feed your family and entertain the kids and that type of thing. So those are the types of supplies you want to keep in mind when you're putting together a kit. So what should you put in your kit? Well, let's take a look at some examples of things. One thing you should have in your kit would be a NOAA weather radio. That way, if you're going to shelter somewhere in place due to a weather-related emergency or other type of an emergency, you can have this radio with you so that you can be alerted when the warning is, there is a warning, and then also when the warning expires, you'll be aware whether another warning is issued and you need to remain in shelter and that type of thing. Now let's talk a little bit about weather radios because there are several different types. This smaller one that you see here is the perfect kind to have in your kit. It's battery operated, there's a hand crank, so even if you do run out of batteries, of course hopefully in your kit you have extra batteries, but if you run out of batteries, you can turn that hand crank to generate power. So this is a good thing to have in a kit. We also though encourage every residence and every workplace here in DuPage County to have an actual weather radio that you can plug into electricity that also has a battery backup. The reason for that is this larger weather radio you see here, and there's several different brands, we just happen to have one particular one here, but there's several different brands, but this one has what's called SAME technology. That's S-A-M-E. It stands for Specific Area Message Encoding. But when you go to the local electronics store or you're looking online, you'll see that SAME technology listed on this type of weather radio from several different manufacturers. Basically what that means is because this is plugged in, it's always on. You're not listening to the radio, but when an alert is issued for whatever county you program, so here we program it for DuPage, the radio turns on and you're able to hear that warning. That's something you're only going to get with this type of weather radio. Most of these smaller weather radios that run on batteries and hand cranks only, they're not going to alert you. So you want to look and see what type of weather radio you're getting. Again, for most kits, this smaller one is fine. But in your house and place of work for day-to-day use, we recommend something a little more substantial that's plugged into electricity, that's got battery backup, and you still change the batteries, every year when you change your smoke detector batteries. So what else do you have in your kit? Well, again, it supplies for you and your family for up to 3 days. So bottled water is a good thing to have. Use plastic bottles. We encourage people to have 1 gallon of water per person per day. Don't forget about your pets too. Your pets need water also, so make sure you include them when you're putting together your kit. Some other things you should have would be non-perishable food. So here we have some peanuts, we've got some crackers, we've got some canned food. Now if the canned food you have doesn't have these pull rings on it, obviously you want to make sure you have a can opener. And even though we say non-perishable food, of course, food does expire eventually. So even this canned food is probably only good for 4 or 5 years. Peanuts are probably only good for a year or 2. So you want to make sure that you're reviewing your kit every year or so, replacing the bottled water, replacing the canned food and the crackers, cycling through that. Consuming this and then putting new stuff in there so your kit's always fresh. Granola bars. You certainly want to have flashlights with extra batteries. You want to have a first aid kit. Some other things you want to have are some coloring books and activity books for the children to keep them entertained. So if the power's out and they're a little bit scared, you can keep them occupied with preparedness books like this, which you can get at any events that you see, which we post on our Facebook page. Some other things to have in your kit would be extra cash. You know, during an emergency, if the internet doesn't work, if the power's out, it's very likely that ATM machines wouldn't work. It's very likely that your credit cards wouldn't be accepted because the merchant's not able to process them. So it's important to have not a whole lot, but at least a few days worth of cash to get you by if credit card processing systems are down. Important personal documents. You want to keep them in your kit or in a safe place. A lot of times people, after disaster, you know, they of course regret losing their furniture and other things, but furniture can easily be replaced. Personal documents and wedding albums and things like that can't be replaced. So keep those in your kit or in some type of safe place. Hygiene supplies such as toilet paper and other products or something else that you'd want to have in your kit. We've got a whole list of supplies that you should put in an emergency supply kit on our website at protectdupage.org. We encourage you to visit protectdupage.org throughout the month of September for important preparedness tips. And we also hope you'll tune in next week when we cover Step 2, which is make a plan. Again, I'm Dave Gervino with the DuPage County Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, encouraging you to get a kit so that you can be prepared and take advantage of this National Preparedness Month initiative. We'll see you next week.